everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April and I'm so glad to have you here. Isn't it crazy that we're just like halfway through 2026? Today I thought I'd do a little chit chat with you guys and go through the mid-year freakout tag. I did this last year and I thought it would be fun again to do this year. This year I set myself a goal of reading 40 books, and so far now in July I've read 26 books so far. It's still saying that I'm like 6 books ahead for my yearly goal, but I don't know, I haven't really like finished a book in a good couple of weeks, so I do feel as if I'm in a little bit of a reading slump, unfortunately. I'm hoping that by doing this video I get to like get some good reading juices flowing and I get reinvigorated to pick up and finish a book. Like, I have been picking up books, I've been starting them, I've been putting them back down. I haven't been able to like finish anything, like really focus and finish anything. I'm really hoping that I'll be able to do that. I'll keep you posted on it. Starting off strong with question number 1. It's the best book I've read so far in 2026. It was How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. This was a science fiction book. It was released in 2022 and it's a collection of short stories that are all like interconnected with each other. The first chapter / story in this book, it follows a man who travels to the Arctic Circle where his recently deceased daughter was a part of this research team that had just discovered the mummified remains of a child. And with this, the research project unknowingly releases a plague throughout the world that mainly affects children and elderly people. And unfortunately, this disease likes to spread through water. So the fact that they are in the Arctic Circle, the ice caps are melting, it's spreading all throughout the world. My favorite story out of this, even though it is like a little bit bleak, but my favorite story in this collection is the second one, called City of Laughter. By this second story, we are well into the pandemic and we follow a character who has taken a job working at a euthanasia theme park called the City of Laughter, where they basically have renovated like an old prison ground into this big theme park where sick kids are able to be brought along and given one last fun day with their family before they are put onto a roller coaster that is engineered to put them to sleep. Like, that story itself is like so bleak and so sad that all like every day they have kids visiting this theme park to have one last fun day with their family. The story itself was like really beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. And I really think that this is a book that could be really easily adapted into a TV show. Please make this into a miniseries. Stop making bad miniseries and make this one into a miniseries, please. Question number 2, the best sequel that I've read so far in 2026. I haven't really read any sequels this year / like anything a part of a series. At most, I've read books that are a part of like a greater overarching universe / series. Like, I read The Hollow Man by Dickson Carr, which is apparently number 6 in his Dr. Gideon Fell series. And I read The Family Experiment by John Mars, which is book number 5 in the Dark Future series. And I didn't particularly love either of those books. In particular, I hated The Family Experiment. Like, it felt fake deep. It felt half-baked. It felt like the first idea pitched in a writer's room for Black Mirror, and then they didn't punch up or do any further work on the story itself. They just said, this is the first idea, best idea, and left it at that. And it was bad. And with The Hollow Man, I've read it because it was mentioned in the latest Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man. And it was referred to in the book Fair Play by Louise Hegarty, which I have a whole video about if you want to watch it. The Hollow Man itself, it's a classic murder mystery kind of book. And it is the first classic murder mystery book that I've ever read. So I wasn't able to solve it myself because I don't think I was like paying that much attention. I was also reading it just after watching Knives Out. So I had the mystery of Knives Out and like the solution of Knives Out in my head. And so I was trying to like see the parallels between the movie and the book, and I didn't really see it there, so I was like a little bit confused. I don't really know if these classic murder mysteries are for me, but I think that I probably should give them a try, get into like Agatha Christie and shit like that. Question number 3, a new release you haven't read yet but want to. I am not super up to date with like new releases, but I did have a look on Goodreads to see what releases came out in like previous months. I did see 2 books that came out in April that I do want to read. Those two books are The Caretaker by Marcus Kliewer and Mulca by Monica Kim. I read the debut novels of these two authors last year. So I read We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer and I read The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. I also think it's interesting that like both of them had really wordy titles for their debut novels and then like single word-ish titles for their second releases. The Caretaker by Marcus Kliewer is apparently about a woman who is accepting a job listing to be a caretaker at a private property for 3 days when an incomprehensible evil seems to be dwelling on the property. And then with Mulca is the Korean term for spy cameras, secretly and illegally installed, often to capture voyeuristic videos and images. So in Mulca, we follow our main character who has a whirlwind romance with a handsome CEO Chebel type, and she becomes a victim of one of these spy cams. Question number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I, again, don't pay any attention to like new release books or anything like that. So I don't have any like major new releases that I'm like super duper excited for. I know that I have other books that I should be reading first, so I'm not going out of my way to like pre-order books. But you know, if I see it while I'm browsing my Libby app or something like that, then I'll favorite it and I'll read it then. All that to say, as I was going through Goodreads to see what the upcoming new releases were, I did see that Barbara Truelove has a new novel coming out in either September or October. It's unclear on which. Goodreads wasn't particularly clear on which date it's supposed to come out. It has like a release date in September and then a release date in October. I don't know which one is which. It's called She's a Doll. And by the sounds of the blurb, it will be about a ghost possessing a little porcelain doll that's on a mission to kill the man who killed her. Scary. I read Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove last year, and it was a perfectly fun read. Of Monsters and Mainframes was like kind of campy, kind of fun, kind of campy, kind of scary, very fun. So I think that with She's a Doll, it'll probably be just like that again. So I am really excited about that one. Let's just say that that's going to be my most anticipated release for the next half of the year. Question number 5, my biggest disappointment. I would say that my biggest disappointment, it is because of my own expectations of where the story was heading. And it's nothing to do with the book itself, but it is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. This book is set in the 1970s and we follow these young girls who are sent away to this boarding house to deal with their issue of being pregnant, where they then give birth and give the baby up for adoption, and they return home to their families without bringing any shame to their hometown. It's a good story and it explores like the lack of autonomy that these girls have through this whole process. And if you're interested in reading it, I would definitely recommend it. But also maybe look up like the trigger warnings and the content warnings if that's something that you need. In order to discuss my disappointment with this story, I do just need to explain like one sort of scene. I'm not going to be giving spoilers for the story, but I will give a content warning for pregnancy, traumatic pregnancy, childbirth. Maybe skip ahead if you are sensitive to that kind of thing. There is a scene in chapter 7 where we are given gnarly graphic descriptions of this girl in a bathroom who I'm not quite sure if she is giving birth or perhaps miscarrying. Describes that this girl is like in so much pain that she's bitten through her lip and there's like blood all around her mouth. So I thought that with these body horror descriptions, we were going to go like the demon kind of possession vibes. Because this scene was like so graphic though, and because it was like earlier in the book, it was in chapter 7, I thought that this story was going to go the demon possession route, that these girls were going to give birth to some sort of like demon baby. Maybe the babies are going to be given up for demons or something like that. Like the babies aren't actually being adopted out. I thought it was going to go that kind of route. But instead, the title of the book is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. There are no demons. We are dealing with witches. So I think that's on me for thinking that the story was going to go somewhere different from where the title said it was going to go. That's on me. That's on me. Question number 6. My biggest surprise is Julie Chan is Dead by Lian Zhang. This is about 2 twins who are orphaned at the age of 4, and one twin Chloe, is adopted into this wealthy white family, and she grows up to become like an influencer. She's really rich, famous, lives in New York. And the other twin, Julia, is adopted by their kind of abusive aunt. And Julia is just like normal person, working normal job at grocery store, a little bit poor, paycheck to paycheck type vibe, you know? With this book, our rich twin, Chloe, mysteriously dies in her New York apartment, and poor twin, Julia, comes along to discover her body. And in the process of reporting the rich twin, Chloe's death to the police officer, the apartment conciergeman, they all mistake Julia, the poor twin, for Chloe, the rich twin. And they assume that the dead body on the ground is of the poor twin, Julia. And Julia doesn't correct their assumption. So on paper, Julia Chan is pronounced dead, and Julia herself is able to kind of slide herself into rich twin Chloe's life, where Chloe is living this luxurious, rich influencer lifestyle. As I was reading this, I thought that it would become like a kind of a similar story to Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, where, you know, we're worried about this life swap kind of situation being found out or being exposed for presuming her life. I was expecting there to be a part where the lie is exposed for everyone, but like that's not where the story goes. The story goes in like a much crazier route, and I really, really enjoyed it because it was not something that I was expecting at all. Question 7, new favorite author, either debut or new to you. My favorite new to me author has been Tiffany Sao. I read But Won't I Miss Me this year, and I really, really loved it, and I'm so excited because when I looked at Goodreads, I was able to see that Tiffany Sao has like a backlog of all of these books that I can dig myself into, right? But Won't I Miss Me, it's set in like this alternate reality where during childbirth, you will also experience rebirth. So you will give birth to a child, and you will then give birth to like this little slug kind of thing. And this slug kind of quickly and rapidly grows into a new version of yourself. That new version of yourself then consumes its cocoon, aka your dead body. And this new version of you becomes you. And this new version of you is now seemingly superhuman. This new you has all this new energy, new strength. It retains all of your memories of like who you are and like your relationships to everyone, but it's just faster, better, stronger, faster, harder. Like it's you but better. This book was like such an interesting concept to me, and I really, really enjoyed the book itself. And so like I am really interested in reading other work by Tiffany Sao. I'm going to loop question 8 and question 9 together. Question number 8 is my newest fictional crush. Question number 9 is my newest favorite character. Guess what? I have none. I don't have any fictional crushes because I don't really read romance novels or anything like that, or like any of the books that I read that do have a romantic couple. Those people aren't good people and you should not have a crush on them. Same with number 9 with like my newest favorite character. I read a lot of books where the characters shouldn't be romanticized, and I don't really have a favorite. I also feel really bad in saying this one, question number 10, a book that made me happy. I don't have a book for that either. I feel like I haven't really read anything that made me feel like happy after reading. I feel like if anything, after the books I've read this year, I've just been like, there's nothing that I'm like, is that how I'm supposed to be when I finish a book? I haven't read anything that's like happy. However, for question 11, a book that made me cry, I think I cried reading Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, because to me, it's so sad. And it's like an issue that is really affecting people like all around the world. Like not just if I think about like tuberculosis, if I think about like other health issues that are, you know, I don't want to say plaguing. I don't know if that's like the right kind of word for it, but like other like illnesses that are curable or like non-existent in like the Western world. The fact that they are so rampant in poorer countries, I don't know, it just makes me really sad to think about it. And I think also it makes me like really angry to think about it as well, because a lot of things with like the health issues. If some of these billionaires just want to pull their little fingers out of their bums, there are like billionaires playing around with fake money, playing around with make-believe money, the make-believe value of an asset. They're playing around the world with it. A billionaire could like easily take their wealth and use it for like proper philanthropic means, properly funding medical health, overall well-being. Billionaire could like easily pay for things like the vaccinations and like the course of medication, the nutrition that patients are required to have to sustain themselves while recovering from things like tuberculosis or any other disease. A billionaire could easily pay for that, and yet they choose not to. If I think about it too much, I feel like an immense sense of injustice, and it makes me really sad. And it makes me not want to be a part of this world. And it makes me think, oh, well, maybe I'll just become a billionaire and I'll become a good billionaire. Then I'm not even going to be a billionaire. I'm just going to get like heaps and heaps and heaps of money, and I'm just going to like donate it all. Guys, I'm just going to donate all my money. But I can't do that because unfortunately I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. So yeah, makes me really sad. Moving on to the penultimate question. Question number 12, the most beautiful book I have bought this year. I've been trying like not to really buy new books. Unfortunately I have failed that. I have definitely bought new books, but I don't know, I don't really like focus on buying hardcover books or like special edition books or anything like that. So I don't have anything that's like beautiful in the traditional sense of the word. I will say though that like the other month, my partner and I were doing like a little bit of op shopping, and I did pick up a couple of books at the op shop, and to me, these books are very beautiful to me, okay? I love old secondhand books that look battered and dusty and yucky, okay? So I picked up this. This is David Attenborough's Journey to the Past. This is an old little penguin book that was sold for like $6 at the time. I was going to say that there's like pictures in the middle of the book, but then one of the pages just fell out. I don't know. I love old yucky books like this. I'm fine with cracking spines. I don't want to be precious about any of the books. I love dog-earing pages, and I love looking at other people's books when they have dog-eared and like used their book. I love seeing the wear and tear on a book. I love seeing the little writing and shit that's put into a book. I picked up this copy of Macbeth. This seems very clearly to be like a student's copy that they would have had in high school. There is like pen marks all over the cover. I don't know. I think that secondhand books that are ugly and battered are so beautiful to me. This is a No Fear Shakespeare of A Midsummer Night's Dream. It is like clearly a school library copy. Parramatta High School, shout out. It has like the Dewey Decimal number on the side of it. This is also Shakespeare, Othello. And again, it's like very clearly a student's copy of this book. I'm pretty sure that I had this edition when I was in year 12 back in 2012. And so I have a feeling that this might have been someone who was studying at high school at the same time as me, because I think this was a part of like the syllabus. And I remember this scary ass. I think it's like so beautiful to think of like other people's lives. What is it? Sonder? That Sonder term? I don't know, man. I don't want to be too precious about like sprayed edges. I don't want to be too precious to not dog-ear a book or like fold a book's spine back on itself. I think that the wear and tear on a book, I think it's so good to look at someone's bookshelf and see that they've cracked the spines of a book. To me, those ugly ass books are the most beautiful books to me. And then lastly, the final question. What books do I need to read by the end of the year? All of them. I need to read all of them. There have been like so many books that I have started, especially this month, that I just have not finished. I need to finish The Unworthy by Agustina Basterrica. I need to finish Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. And I want to read and also finish Wool, which is part of the Silo series. And I mainly want to read it because I believe there's like that new season of Silo that's come out, like the adaptation for that series. And I do really want to watch this TV show, but I feel compelled with this need that I need to read the book first. So yeah, those are like the three main books that I do want to finish reading this year. Aside from that, I do also have like obviously other books that I need to read as well, but it is what it is. Anyway, that is it for me today with the mid-year freakout tag. Let me know down below if you have any thoughts on my disappointing books, any recommendations that you have that I should read. I would happily like to check them out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me. And I don't know, I'll see you guys in my next video maybe. Bye!